session, 14 members of the council are present, including 6 permanent members, 6 non-permanent members, as well as 2 specially authorized reviews. Let me introduce the 6 permanent members of the Dissertation Council. Gulnar Nasimova, Chairperson of the Dissertation Council, Doctor of Political Science, Professor of the Al-Farabi University. Gulmira Abdraimova, Deputy Chairperson of Dissertation Council, Doctor of Sociological Science, Professor Farabi University. Nazim Shedenova, Academic Secretary of the Dissertation Council, Doctor of Sociological Science, Associate Professor of the Farabi University. Zabira Medalieva, Doctor of Psychology, Professor of the Farabi University. Rustem Kadarjanov, Doctor of Philosophy, Professor, Chief Research Fellow of the Institute of Philosophy, Political Science and Religion Studies. Aygul Bulakbayeva, Doctor of Pedagogical Science, Associate Professor of the Farabi University. Let me introduce the 6 non-permanent members of the Dissertation Council present at this session. Zhumart Simtikov, Doctor of Political Science, Professor, Head of the Department of Political, Social and Philosophical Science at Abay Kazakh National Pedagogical University. Rustam Burnashev, Candidate of Philosophy, Associate Professor of the Department of Politics of the Kazakh German University. Yerkin Baydarov, Candidate of Philosophy, Chief Research Fellow of the Suleimanov Institute of Oriental Studies of the National Academy of Science. Ulukbek Hasanov, Candidate of Political Science, Head of the Department of International Relations of the University of World Economy and Diplomacy, Republic of Uzbekistan. Asil Nazarmbetova, PhD, Head of Department of International Study of the Institute for Strategic Studies under the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Marina Anuchka, Candidate of Political Science, Professor of Gumilev Eurasian National University. All Dissertation Council member and review participate online. There is quorum to continue the session of the Council. I shall declare the session of the Dissertation Council open. Defense of dissertation by Faiz Muhammad Zaland on peace-building process in Afghanistan, political power distribution and its future, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, in the educational program Political Science. The candidate dissertation has been completed at the Department of Political Science and Technology of the Faculty of Philosophy and Political Science at Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. Domestic Supervisor Bakhat Rahimbekova, Candidate of Historical Science, Senior Lecturer of the Department of Political Science and Technology of Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. Foreign Supervisor Dr. Sultan Barakat, Professor of Hamad bin Khalifa University. Official authorized reviews. Abisheva Mariam, Candidate of Political Science, Professor at the National School of Public Policy at the Academy of Public Administration under the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan. Abdul Hakim Burhanuddin, PhD, Associate Professor of the Egyptian University of Islamic Culture, Mubarak. Dear colleagues, are there any questions on the agenda? Есть вопросы? Нет, да? This is the first submission of the dissertation to be defended. If you know no other motion, let the council begin its works. Тогда начнем, да? Кто за? What is in favor? Unanimously. To present the information on the applicant and the document of the application, the floor is given to Academic Secretary Nazim Shedenova.
Zaland Faiz Mahamat was born on 30 August 1979 in Paktika province, Afghanistan. His nationality is Afghan. He's married, has children. Zaland Faiz Mahamat obtained his bachelor degree in medicine from Sheikh Zayed Host University in 2004. As DIAT scholarship holder, he completed his master's studies at the University of Erfurt, Germany, Willy Brandt School of Public Policy, 2009 to 2011, and obtained a master's degree in public policy. In the period from September 2020 to June 2023, he studied in the doctoral program 8D03-104 Political Science at the Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. He started his career as head of the Southeast Asia Department of the Culture and Information Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs from January 2005 to December 2006. From December 2006 to November 2011, he was Senior Management Advisor, Regional Director of Development Alternative Incorporation. From August 2011 to March 2015, he worked as Head of Project Management Department on Ministry of Education of Afghanistan. From September 2015 to December 2018, he was Dean of BBA, MBA at Bakhtar University in Afghanistan. From 2008 to present, he has been an Assistant Professor of Public Administration and Policy at Kabul University, specializing in local governance, policy analysis, and public sector reform. As Deputy Chief of Mission for USAID and the Asia Foundation, he served as Senior Advisor on local governance in Afghanistan. He is the author of 18 books and more than 20 articles on Afghanistan's recent political, social, and economic history. He has translated several major international bestsellers on US-Afghanistan-Pakistan relations and policy from English into Pashto and Dari. The dissertation was carried out at the Department of Political Science and Political Technologies at the Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. The topic of the dissertation, Peace-Building Process in Afghanistan, Political Power Distribution and its Future, was approved by the Academic Council of the Kazakh National University, named after Al-Farabi, on 2nd November 2020, order number 44424. At the Academic Council of the Al-Farabi Kazakh National University on 2nd November 2002, the domestic scientific supervisor was approved Rahimbekova Bahid Konishbekovna, candidate of historical sciences, senior lecturer of the Department of Political Science and Political Technologies of the Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Almaty, Kazakhstan. Foreign advisor Sultan Barakat, Doctor of Philosophy, Professor of Hamad bin Khalifa University, Doha, Qatar. The main content and results of the thesis have been published in international journals with non-zero impact factor, included in the information base Scopus to publication in Review of Faith and International Affairs in journals recommended by the Science and Higher Education Committee for Quality Assurance of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan. To publication. In collections of international scientific practical conferences and international forums, roundtables, 3 publications. The applicant documents reflect the discussion of the thesis at the extended meeting of the Department of Political Science and Political Technologies on the 20th February 2024, protocol number 5, at which the examiners spoke Simkhimbayeva, PhD, Acting Associate Professor of the Department of Political Science and Political Technologies, Sisibayeva, Candidate of Political Sciences, Acting Associate Professor of the Department of Political Science and Political Technologies, Kukeeva, Doctor of Historical Sciences, Professor of the Department of International Relations. The reviewers gave positive feedback and recommended the thesis for defense in the Dissertation Council of the Al-Farabi Kazakh National University, Social Sciences and Education. According to the results of the extended meeting of the department, it was dedicated the dissertation work of Zaland Faiz Mohammad on the topic Peace-Building Process in Afghanistan, Political Power Distribution and its Future, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, is an independent research, makes a certain contribution to the training of future sociologists and meets the requirements for dissertation of the educational program AD 03104 political science, and it's recommended for defense. The following comments and recommendations were made at the extended meeting of the department. First, the structure and logical presentation of the material deviate somewhat from the conventional format typically accepted in Kazakhstan. Each part contains numerous sub-items ranging from a quarter of page to 1.5 pages, which can obscure the main idea. Additionally, the paper must include the customary structural elements required for dissertation research, such as clear introduction, distinct section outline, the main preposition, and comprehensive conclusion. The protocol of extended meeting of the department is signed by the head of the Department of Political Science and Political Technologies, Nasimova, and approved by the Ayjanova, Vice Rector for Scientific and Innovative Activities of Al-Farabi Kazmu. All the documents submitted by the applicant meet the requirements of the Science and Higher Education Quality Assurance Committee of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan. At the meeting of the Doctoral Council on 24 May 2024, protocol number 30, the date was set for the defense of the doctoral thesis of Заланд Ф.М on the topic Peace-building process in Afghanistan, political power distribution and its future on 21st June 2024, and the authorized reviewers and non-permanent members of the dissertation council were approved. I am finished. Lara Limbaevna, microphone.
Извините. Do you have any question to the Academy Secretary? No question.
No question.
Then the floor is given to doctoral candidate Faiz Mohammed Zaland to present the main result of the dissertation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you so much. Good morning to ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to be here today. I stand before you today with excitement and gratitude as I present the culmination of my research on a deeply complex and profoundly significant topic, the peace building process.
I'm sorry. Could you demonstrate your presentation?
I think it is, can I share? It should be with my professor. I shared with her. So if you can share.
Бахыт Конышбековна, Сағыныш, дайте, пожалуйста, возможность демонстрации экрана.
Дал.
Бахыт Конышбековна, вы демонстрируете, да, экран? Презентация. Сағыныш, может ли любой делать демонстрацию экрана? Вы дали возможность, может быть, сам Фаиз Заланд тоже может? Или как там? Ну, вы, Бахыт Конышбековна, дали всем, да? Все, спасибо. Бахыт Конышбековна, все. Thank you, Zaland. You can continue, please.
Okay. Thank you so much. My journey through this research has been both challenging and rewarding, and I'm honored to share my findings today with the respected and honored committee. My research summary is that my dissertation titled Peace Building Process in Afghanistan, Political Power Distribution and Its Future aims to shed light on the multifaceted nature of peace building in Afghanistan. Multifaceted peace building in Afghanistan. The critical aspects of my research includes differentiation in the definitions. I identified significant variations in the use of basic definition which underscores the complexities of peace-building process. Theoretical aspects, I examined the ontological and epistemological dimension of peace-building. Historical context, understanding the historical backdrop of peace-building efforts in Afghanistan is crucial to comprehending the current challenges. Religious and ethno-cultural identity, I explored the contradiction within the Taliban movement's religious and ethno-cultural identity, which play a pivotal role in peace building. And ineffectiveness of international strategies, my analysis highlights the reasons behind the inefficacy of the strategies of the United States and international community. And internal political actors, I assess the influence of various internal political actors, the post-conflict reconstruction process in Afghanistan, sociological and expert surveys. Lastly, I evaluated the importance of sociological and expert survey in gauging the attitude of the different social groups towards peace building. So my problem statement, as you can see in the slide, this research study tries to rationalize the causes and effects of the failure of the peace building process, which was concluded on 29th February 2020 in Doha between the US and Taliban. Despite the great efforts from the US government and international community the past 2 decades to ensure peace, security, and development in Afghanistan, the country unfortunately, I can say, slipped back to the uncertainty on August when the Taliban took over. This research study attempted to provide a scientific explanation for why US peace-building efforts failed in Afghanistan. Next slide, please. The objective of the study is pretty much clear on the identification of differentiation and the use of basic definition, study of ontological, epistemological aspects of the theories, analysis of the reasons for the ineffectiveness of the strategies of the international community led by United States, assessment of the influence and the internal political actors, and conducting a sociological expert survey to determine the attitudes. And also I interviewed the experts of peace building, especially on Afghanistan. The scientific novelty of the research is mainly focusing on 5 areas. The dissertation is the first research practically devoted to the failure of the United States efforts in Afghanistan and peace building. Second, this study also provides empirical data explaining the main factors that led to the failure. This study also provides meticulously analyzing empirical data on the ground in Afghanistan, conducting comprehensive interviews with experts, and the scientific study provides specific recommendations for the future intervention in peace building. An extensive systematic analysis of scientific literature through analysis I have done. It is a systematic literature review, which I will provide the results, and it presents the main bibliometric analytical descriptions. Next slide, please. Research method, it's mainly focusing on qualitative and quantitative research methods, theoretical and conceptual approaches to study. I have done the literature review. More than 2,291 articles have been bibliaxial content analysis and comprehensive expert survey conducted by me, and also the Delphi method rigorous has been done. The survey panel was carefully selected, comprising the experts, domestic, national, and international experts, respected committee members. You should be knowing Bernard Robin, for example, Talat Beg, and Thomas Rothik, and Konrad Schetter, and many other experts who are highly involved in Afghanistan. I have communicated with them and conducted interviews. Methodology, specifically on the systematic literature review, it focused as Prisma in 4 areas: identification, screening, eligibility, and inclusion. Next slide, please. Here you can see that the following is the detailed description of each step. The documents from 2013 to 2022, they have been analyzed, which are mostly from the main journals related to the peace building and conflict studies, like the Third World Quarterly, Peace and Conflict, Security and Development. This systematic literature review has given me a chance to go through the recent publications publication, research papers, research articles, authors who specifically develop theories in peace building to theoretically frame my research and dissertation. Next slide, please. Here you can see the trend line, how documents related to the peace building process were developed. The highest rate was in 2023, around 291 articles were published, mainly Scopus articles, and they were written by very well-known authors as Richmond and Jonty and Dusmas and Kim and Tyler. Next slide, please. These articles that 2,297 keywords were searched, mainly 546 keywords were coming up repeatedly in visualization. You can see the keywords that were repeated in all these articles, which I did the bibliometric Excel and the systematic literature review. They were peace process, peace building, and security, which are mainly concerning my dissertation and my research study. Next slide, please. The literature review provided me main hypotheses or assumptions that helped me with these 9 areas to collaborate my research interviews, expert interviews, and also research survey. My empirical data analysis was based on these 9 aspects of the failure: improper balance of power, stigmatization, hostility to international capacity and local capacity to change, spoilers, local autonomy, control over geography, civil resistance, lack of effective mediation, and poor governance and short-sighted visions. These 9 factors were mainly outcome of the literature review, which provided me a way forward to conduct my data analysis and my empirical data collection to see if these are the main concerns regarding the failure of the peace building process in Afghanistan. Next slide, please. The theoretical frame was, it's mainly on the John Paul Lederach's pyramid, which his approach is mainly on the leadership skill on 3 levels in this pyramid. The first level is from bottom to top is the grassroots. He considers that we need to involve grassroots leadership, communicate with them our processes and peace building strategies. Second is the middle leadership, which is mainly the civil society, media related leadership. And third is the political leadership, the highest, the peak of the pyramid. John Paul Lederach's 1997, he believes that peace building is a dynamic social construct requiring investment in materials, coordination of labor. He also constructs the theory efforts on political, structural, and social. Political peace building involves high-level political and diplomatic agreements to end the protracted conflict and prevent the impending ones. Next slide, please. Here you can see the pyramid. This pyramid is mainly explaining the 3 leadership actors, which I have considered in my expert review and also in my survey questionnaire, that how these 3 leaderships in Afghanistan perspective of peace building were ignored by the United States peace building efforts. They were not conjuncted or they were not interjunct to implement or to support the peace building efforts of the United States and international community, so Afghans can get to a right path of the peace process and result the stability within the country. Next slide, please. Here, I'm going to share my main key findings from my expert review and also from my Google survey, which I conducted. My expert review was with 86 experts who are nationally and internationally well known. This first diagram shows that the degree to which the Afghan government was empowered. You can see that 36% of the experts, they strongly disagreed that Afghan government was not enoughly empowered to fight the Taliban, and 17% they strongly agreed that they were empowered enough, but they didn't have the capacity to prevail the peace process. Next slide, please. Here, the key finding is regarding the spoilers. I think one of the main belief was that Afghan peace building process was spoiled by some of the key actors like USA, Abdullah and his team, who was main candidate in election, Dr. Ghani, who was the president of the Republic of Afghanistan, Taliban and Pakistan, regionally played a negative role. In this, you can see that 30.529% of the experts, they believe that all played significant role in spoiling the peace process, while 22.06 believed and they blamed Pakistan for playing a spoiling role in the peace process of Afghanistan. Next, please. The role of warlords, here also you can see that strongly 42.65%, they strongly agreed that warlords contributed to the failure of peace building process in Afghanistan, and they were the cause. And 20.59%, they disagreed, and they said that warlords were not part of the peace building failure factors. Next slide, please. The grassroots, again, you can see this variation of how I choose, how I have applied this John Paul Ledar's pyramid. Here I'm coming to the grassroots leadership, how much the grassroots was supported, empowered to play the peace building failure. 29.41%, they denied any role for for the grassroots. 27.94%. The survey members, they denied any role for grassroots, and 29.41% they agreed that there was a role given to the grassroots. So the grassroots and the medium players, which were warlords, we can also include their tribal elders or tribal leaders, mullahs, and then we have the political elite, which was the grassroots, the players like Ghani and Abdullah, and then Taliban leadership, which played also negative role. Next slide, please. The second primary data was initiated through a survey, which was 507 members I have interviewed, and mainly the survey participants were targeted randomly. Most of them represent the youth of Afghanistan, and who speaks English, who are urban Afghanistan, and they are from 20 to 35 years old. Mainly they were involved. The participants were bureaucrats, educators, journalists, the very media and civil society politicians or leaders, they were involved of this survey. Next slide, please. Here also you can see the variation. The blue one is strongly agree, and the red one is agree, and then the green one is strongly disagree. The first one, for example, Taliban never believed in a peace deal. There was 40% of the members from out of 507 interviewees or surveyed people, 40% of them agreed that Taliban never believed in any peace deal. The Doha peace agreement, 40.2%, like the majority was believing that the Taliban and US Doha agreement negatively affected the peace process. The withdrawal of US also played a role in that. The role of hostility, stigmatization, for example, as a deterrent, factors leading to the failure, stigmatization as a deterrent to the peace building. Here also you can see that 31% members of the survey, they believe that Taliban benefited from the atrocities committed by USA and NATO. And regarding warlords, the key finding is that 41.6%, they strongly agree that warlord played a main role in failing the international community peace process. Next slide, please. Next, please. A grassroots, again, you can see here, I'm going back to the grassroots through the, to align my analysis or my findings with the John Paul Ledar's pyramid. You can see that poverty, illiteracy, joblessness, drug cultivation, all together assisted Taliban to strengthen locally in Afghanistan. 36% members of the survey, they strongly agreed the public support related to be more vital for Afghan central government. 37% they agreed that it was required through domestic legitimacy, which lack the republic government. Next slide, please. Civil resistance, this is also part of the grassroots, and you can see the variation there also. Next, please. Here, poor governance led to the disruption, the 6 key finding, which also provide us some very, I can say, data which supports the hypothesis regarding that the poor governance led us to disruption and the failure of the republic or democracy in Afghanistan. 45.6% they believe that subnational governance was disconnected from the central government. So there was an agreement on the majority of the members of the survey that the local governance or local administration was cut off from the central government, which give us another hint, I think, for future research that how local government failure caused the failure of the central government, and then we can say the democratic reformation in Afghanistan. Then the real democracy was never achieved in past 2 decades. There is a strong agreement of 40%, and there is an agreement with 42%. So we can say 80% of the members, they agreed that real democracy was never achieved in past 2 decades, while we had 4 different elections, mainly 3 elections, or for presidential terms. We had 2 won by Karzai and 2 won by 4 election, 2 won by Ghani. So, but we never achieved through even these democratic elections, we never achieved our main goal of initiating democracy within Afghanistan. Next slide, please. So here I'm sharing at the end the way forward and recommendations for our future research and intervention, peace building, specifically in a country water and heterogeneous, poor and affected by war like Afghanistan. If we are doing intra-Afghan dialogue, that's mainly the essentiality of the time. We need to engage with Taliban. We need to engage all these 3 layers of political leadership within the pyramid of John Paul Ledar. Strengthening the justice system will give us outcome, addressing socioeconomic inequalities, countering narcotics trade. Warlord plays a role there. Criminal groups, mafia, corruption, supporting civil society and women rights. That is, I think, one of the main area which we need to support with the international community, need to have more support to that. And regional cooperation, I think the region is already been suffering from the instability in Afghanistan. We can see the Taliban Tehrik-e-Pakistan, we can see the Jaish-ul-Adl in Iran and TTP in Pakistan, and we can see ISIS Kipe-Khorasan, which is extending its threats to Central Asian countries and also even to Moscow. And recently, US has been threatened, and there are threats in Europe also. So it all is, I think, taking somehow its footholds or shelters from Afghanistan current instability. So regional cooperation is highly important. Learning from successful examples, we have the Liberia and Sierra Leone example. I think we can learn from those examples and can apply some success stories to Afghanistan case. And flexibility and adaptability, recognizing that the dynamics of war proxies can involve intervention, should be flexible in Afghanistan kind of country. Thank you so much for your attention, and thanks for giving me this chance.
Please ask questions. Вопросы, пожалуйста, докторантам. Who has any questions?
I have a question.
Ага.
May I put?
Профессор Кадыржанов. Ага.
Excuse me, one moment. Можно, наверное, завершить, да, демонстрацию экрана, да? Презентацию. Багат Конушбековна, извините, пожалуйста. Could you please close, yeah? Presentation. Мне просто надо завершить, поделиться, убрать просто. Вот вы, Багат Конушбековна, вам нужно завершить, делиться поделиться, вы же нажали, теперь надо на зеленую опять нажать, там как вас
Арсен Казахбаевич.
Sorry. Арсен Казахбаевич, ага, excuse me.
My first question is that when Taliban was coming to power in Afghanistan, many experts and many Western experts predicted that the coming to power of Taliban will lead to the civic war in Afghanistan, and so how do you view this possibility, this prognosis of the peace development in Afghanistan? And my second question is that the Americans were 20 years in Afghanistan, and so they introduced many elements of democratic political system. They introduced elections institutions, and they introduced women rights to education, and many reforms of kind of modernization. And I see that this is kind that people learned this, people adopted many of these institutions, especially in the cities, especially in the biggest city of Kabul. And and now Taliban have come to power, and Taliban introduced many religious institutions and institutions also in political sphere, in public sphere, in educational sphere, in sphere of gender. And in this respect, how can you evaluate the future and the sustainability of their power? Because you in your dissertation you mentioned about the poor government by previous Afghan government. So these are my questions.
Спасибо. Профессор Андреевна. Ага, профессор Андреевна.
Can I ask you a question? Could you tell us more about your research? You talked about interviews with the respondents. How did you select your sample? Thank you.
Sorry, so we all ask some questions and then the PhD candidate will answer, yeah? Not question and answer at all, yeah?
Yes, firstly, we will give questions and then he will reply to us for everybody. I mean, together.
Okay, in this
Step
case,
by
I
step.
also have a question. Yeah, because, yeah, it's very, I was impressed by your empirical data, but I have a question about your theoretical basement, because you show several works in your presentation, but I didn't understand what is your theoretical framework, how you conceptualized this theoretical approach, because from my point of view, there are a very big gap between your idea, your topic, and your empirical materials. But why we have this gap? Because you not described very clear, very exactly your theoretical background, basement for your research, and how you conceptualized this research. Yeah, so if you can describe it, you will combine all your theoretical data in one concept. But now, unfortunately, I can't see this combination. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Бола ма?
Болады, әрине.
Саламатсыздар ма, қайырлы күн әріптестер. Good morning, dear colleagues. I have some questions. First of all, I am very honored to join this discussion. So my question, first of all, I want to make a comment to your dissertation. Mr. Faiz Zaland, I think I'm partly agree with Mr. Rustam Brunashev. Your topic of the dissertation and the content, I think they have differences. You give many space for the surveys and the interviews of the experts, but where is your analysis? Where is your theoretical framework? Where is your opinion, views? So basically, we just saw and seen these surveys and the interviews, experts. We did not see your point of view, first of all, and secondly, you give, I think, your like a 50 or 60% of your dissertation is about the technical information, surveys, methodology, and your content. Let me see. Maybe if someone sees this content, your content maybe does not understand that this is the discussions is about Afghanistan,
And excuse me, could I interrupt you just to say, now we put questions and we will have time later to discussion. So please just short, maybe give your questions, because you give comments really.
Okay, comment.
You can do it
we will
later.
have time for comments, right? Okay. Where is my question is, Mr. Faiz Zaland, where is the historical background? I seen the lack of the historical background, the history of Afghanistan a little bit brief. And the second question is, I did not see the link, the history of Deobandism and the Taliban. As you know, the Taliban is based on somehow on the ideology of Deobandism. So where is this? I did not see this relationship between. Thank you.
Все, наверное, вопрос
I'm
закончен.
over. Yes.
May I also put question. You wrote about contradictions in religious, ethnic, cultural, political identity of Taliban government. What do you think about identification of Taliban government now in Central Asia? Because we see cooperation process, for example, also with our Kazakhstani government, and changes of identification of Taliban as terroristic organization. Now we say it, in our country that it's not terroristic organization, and how it will be influence on this peaceful process on developing of Afghanistan, internal and international politics. Thank you. So, not any questions? Yes. If not, for Zaland, you can reply to step by step to questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellencies, and I am honored receiving some very important questions. Many of these questions now guide me to my future plans also, where I need to focus on some new aspects. I have written a new article. It is a chapter for a book, Peace Building for Such, Liberal Peace Building Failure in Afghanistan. It will be published soon. For past 14 months, I have been working on that liberal peace building failure. The first question, which is when Taliban coming to power, many experts predicted that would lead to civil war. I think much of that prediction was based on Afghanistan recent history. We had the civil war connection to the failure of the peace process with Dr. Najib, the communist regime, in 1992 with Mujahideen. When the peace process failed, Mujahideen took over the country, like Taliban took over the country militarily. There was a civil war, and then that civil war caused a lot of destruction, and it initiated a lot of new terrorist groups in the region. So that prediction was mainly based on that. And secondly, it was also based on this tribal and ethnical division within Afghanistan, which is mainly Afghanistan is heterogeneous, as you better know, Pashtun, Tajik, Hazara, Uzbek, Turkmen, many minorities they live geographically in different part. So there were fears that these ethnical groups, they might fight against each other, or religious sections, they might fight against each other. So that possibility was there. Regarding the current peace, I think, as you better know, Your Excellencies, that John Galtung, he explains peace, divides peace into negative and positive. The negative piece is still there is a potentiality of getting back to conflict. I think what we are having, the current stability, it is or current peace, it is the negative peace format of John Galtung's theory, where we still have factors which can destabilize the current peace if we do not go into the reconciliation, if we do not go to intra-Afghan, if we do not go to polarism, which we have in many aspects. And the monopoly of power with Taliban and the strict rules of Taliban's interpretation from Sharia, I think it really undermines the modern progressive minds within the urban Afghanistan. As there is a second question with how this modern factors will affect Afghanistan in its history. For the first time, we are having big urban centers. Kabul has become huge. It is more than a 5 million city, population of a city, which we never had that many people in a city. Now, Taliban mainly, they represents rural ideas, traditional ideas into governance. and also as linked to the Deobandis interpretation, which is strictly eliminating any other sectors, and the interpretation is strictly monopolizing the Sharia interpretation on many aspects, which with the modernism, with urbanization, there are problems. And I think which is mainly madrasa based. And we have universities, for example, in Kabul University, where I lecture, in past 10 years, we have 101 departments. We have more than 25 masters. Now, having all these modern education, scientific developments, it confronts with the madrasa-oriented leadership, which I think one of the main causes of coming future instability and security. So the modernization factor is there for the negative piece to be destabilizing the current status quo, and I don't think it will prevail if we do not have a reconciliation engagement with Taliban, meaningful and principle-based. There is a Doha process initiated by UN Secretary General on 30th June, and 1st July there will be the third Doha term, which mainly comes with the Security Council Resolution 2271, which goes for supports the women's rights, inclusive government, girls' education, and some kind of national consensus for new government definition. So that part is there. Now, regarding those political and religious and different spheres where Taliban are affecting, I think future is very bleak with the current interpretation. It is mainly very strictly religious interpretation, which we do not see in any other Islamic countries. More than 54 Islamic governments we have around the country, around the world. None of those Islamic governments are having any kind of such interpretation from Islam. The Taliban are keeping their government acting for past almost 3 years. There is no constitution, so there is no definition of how their interpretation aligns itself constitutionally. So that is another lacking problem. Regarding selecting the members of my interview member, I think there were a few indicators which helped me how to select those members. First was my theoretical framework, which was based on this pyramid of John Paul Lederach. So it gives me 3 layers of leadership to be focusing. So I focused on political elites. In that aspect, those political elites were members of intra-Afghan dialogue in 2022. 21 members from Republic and 21 members from Taliban side, which were 42 members. So I focused on them. I covered mainly 60-70% of both side members. Second, it gave me civil society members, those they were active in media, political commentators, those that they have written articles, published books on peace process of Afghanistan and interrelated activities, and they were involved in many backdoor channels. So I focused on those members also, and I focused on alliances also. There were people who were sympathizing to Taliban's profile, and there were people who were sympathizing to democratic approaches. So the grassroots, the civil society, and the political elites, those given me somehow a framework where I can focus. On the theoretical basement, the differentiation, I think it's a very important question, and it's highly important to be to put more clarification. Because of the time limitation, I focused mainly on my outcomes and key findings. I published articles in Scopus. One of the article specifically focusing on religious and cultural identity of Taliban, where I put this Deobandi school and how the interpretation is getting wrong and difficult, because we have Deobandi madrasas and their ideological factors within Pakistan, also Jamiat Ulama Islam and Jamiat Islami, and also we have the same Deobandis and in Bangladesh and also in India. But the way Taliban are interpreting and linking themselves to Haqqani madrasa, I think that interpretation there somehow a wrong interpretation, or there is a conflicting synthesis in that. And then Taliban, they are mixing the Ubandi interpretation with the traditions, Pashtunwali traditions, which also contradicts with the Ubandi school on many aspects. So that contradiction is explained in that article, which is also part of my dissertation. And then there is a typology of Taliban. I have divided Taliban into 4 main groups. So on the theoretical basement, I have 4 theoretical framework which interjuncts the peace building approach. The main peace building approach I focus is John Paul Ledarch. But then I have approached to complexities of peace building within Afghanistan, warlordism and democratization. So how warlord democratization was failure. I also put this religious ideological aspect to the failure, and then the negative and positive piece of John Galtung. So the negative peace perspective, how factors still available within the framework, is also part of all the discussion, or the peace building and peacemaking and peace keeping approaches, which I have explained in the complexities of peace process. Because of the lack of time, I couldn't go to my own analysis and the framework. In my pre-defense, I had that chance. And I explained the framework, I think, in three different slides. So I tried there a lot. I focused there a lot on the theoretical framework, and in defense. In final defense, I give more time to my empirical data analysis to align my data to the. Finally. The final question is on the historical background. Okay, the last question which I received is from what is the identification of Taliban governments? I think regarding eliminating Taliban from terrorist group, that is a very bold, very strong decision, and that is highly important for engagement. If you want to engage with Taliban, I think the first step, we need to take them off from the terrorist group so we can engage meaningfully, principle-based. And Kazakhstan did a very good role, and they lead the international community in specifying how to engage with Taliban on principle base, how to transform Taliban through engagement. I think that is very strong, and that's highly appreciated by Afghans and highly appreciated by scientists, academicians, because through such kind of engagement, politically, economically, culturally, and academically, I think we can transform the current status quo, the negative peace, into positive peace. Otherwise, we will be going back to the fear, which the first question was applying to the civil war, because we have that history of the civil war in Afghanistan. If we do not engage principally, if we do not engage meaningfully with Taliban, if we do not work with Afghans in general, I think civil war will be coming to our doors, and it will destabilize the whole region. Thank you so much.
Он ответил, я думаю, на все вопросы. Работаем дальше, да? The floor is given to domestic supervisor Бахтар Химбекова. Пожалуйста, Бахтар Химбекова.
Good day, distinguished chairperson and members of the dissertation committee, authorized reviewers. Allow me, as a scientific supervisor, to present my arguments why I recommend the dissertation of Zaland F.М. on the topic peace-building process in Afghanistan, political power distribution and its future for public defense. I would like to mention at the outset that it was initiative work, and choice of the topic was made by the doctoral student himself, and his background, his experience as an expert and diplomat, his active involvement in the process taking place in his homeland, his really strong motivation and research interest in this topic helped him to write a complete scientific paper. The relevance of the study is unquestionably. The peace-building process in Afghanistan and related security issues are among the most widely discussed topics in the Central Asia expert cycles in the public sphere. Due to the limit of time, I really briefly said about the main arguments. So the PhD thesis has produced scientific results that contribute for better understanding the subject matter. So I would like to mention it only two findings which contained in this thesis. First of is about the really expanded comprehensive systematic literature review using software tools and relevant methodology of systematic literature review, which allow to the PhD candidate to make a conclusion about the gap in the research peace-building studies. Second one is that PhD candidate has obtained representative and valuable data through sociological surveys and method expert assessments, which allows the author to draw a conclusion about the balance of political forces in solving the task of post-conflict reconstruction stability in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, it's important that I wanted to repeat again, the author himself is an expert on this problem and active participant in the negotiation process. So, the PhD thesis meet all the general formal requirements, contain analytical tables and figures that increase the visibility, the textual material, and also guides and questionnaires, and the respondent profiles. So it's really useful material for further researchers. And how the Faiz Zaland says, he published 2 articles in Scopus database journal with a really high percentile, Q1 and sorry, Q1 and Q2. To sum up, I recommend the submission for defense of Faiz Zaland Mohammed dissertation in accordance with the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Educational Program, Political Science. So you can find my review on our website. So that's all. If you have any questions, so I'm ready to give answer.
Спасибо. The floor is given to Academic Secretary Nazim Shedenova to read out the review of Foreign Supervisor Professor Sultan Barakat.
Thank you. Let me share this review of Professor Dr. Sultan Barakat, College of Public Policy, Hamad bin Khalifa University, Doha, Qatar. He wrote that this comprehensive work showcases a remarkable depth of research, insight, critical analysis, and scholarly dedication. The research methodology used demonstrate a true understanding of the subject matter, effectively addressing key issues while contributing new perspective. One of the exceptional qualities of this dissertation is its meticulous attention to detail and systematic approach to presenting arguments. This have allowed for a clear, concise thesis. Faiz Mohammad Zaland exhibits a strong command of scholarly ability, clearly displays in the delivery of systematic literature review and effectively synthesizing diverse ideas, offering a cohesive narrative that advance scholarly discourse. The originality and innovation displayed in Faiz Mohammad Zaland's work are noteworthy. Building on the original survey collection, Mr. Zaland presenting strong arguments for and against the international efforts of peace building in Afghanistan. His ability to explore the failure of the peace building efforts in Afghanistan in an objective manner helped him shed new light on existing theories, providing a fresh perspective that enrich the current body of knowledge within the field. The clarity of expression and the organization of ideas throughout the dissertation are commendable. Faiz Mohammad Zaland excels at academic writing, having continuously improved throughout the undertaking of his PhD, making complex concepts accessible while maintaining scholarly rigor. Overall, Faiz Muhammad Zaland's dissertation makes a significant and important contribution to the field of political science and international relations, as well as to the study of conflict and peace building. When published, I believe this work will be considered an important contribution to the existing literature on Afghanistan. It's a testament to Faiz Muhammad Zaland's intellectual prowess, dedication, and scholarly commitment, and a great reflection of the systematic and strong support he has received from his supervisors throughout his study. Thank you.
Спасибо. I now give the floor of the official authorized reviewers, Professor Mariana Abisheva.
Good morning, dear Chairman. Good morning, members of Dissertation Council, dear colleagues. Let me introduce official review report according to the following criteria. First, we consider that the topic of dissertation corresponds to main approaches of two-state concepts, the concept for the development of higher education and science, and the foreign policy concept of Kazakhstan. Second, the importance to science. The work makes a significant contribution to science from 2 points of view. First, from the point of view of the relevance of the research topic, as the question of peace building in Afghanistan is extremely relevant both in terms of Afghanistan's trajectory of sustainable development and the wider range of regional security issues. Second, from the point of view of massive work done by the author to make differentiation of definitions related to the peace building process. 3. Principle of independence. The level of independence of research paper is high. The dissertation is an independent original study, which results make a significant contribution to peace-building theory in general and peace-building process in Afghanistan in particular. 4. For principle of internal unity, 4.1. The topic of dissertation is relevant and justified, taking into account scientific and practical significance. The dissertation work it demands research for nowadays, and the lessons learned from situation in Afghanistan can help resolve regional and global disputes. The dissertation relevance is also confirmed by international publications, including journals indexed in the Scopus database. 4.2. The content of the thesis fully reflects the research topic. 4.3. The purpose and objectives correspond to the topic of research, and to, the 8 tasks have been identified, and all tasks were completed in full accordance with the research topic. 4.4. All sections and provisions of dissertation are completely logically interconnected, characterized by the unity and interdependence of the problem, purpose, tasks, methods, theoretical and practical research, obtained results. A consistent presentation of dissertation is in accordance with scientific and conceptual apparatus of research. 4.5. Based on critical analysis on ontological and epistemological aspects of theories of peace building and post-conflict reconstruction, the author found the differentiation in the use of basic definitions in determining the complexity of the peace building process in Afghanistan. In particular, this leads to 4 interrelated theoretical topics: the complexities of peace building in Afghanistan, counterinsurgency, democratization of warlords, and the failure of intra-Afghan peace negotiations. 5. The principle of scientific novelty. 5.1. All the scientific results and provisions are completely new. The first scientific result is new, as the dissertation is devoted to the failure of the efforts of the United States and international community to build peace in Afghanistan after the transition of power to Taliban movement in 2021. The second scientific result is new as it is based on empirical data explaining the main factors that led to the failure of the US government and international community's peace-building efforts in Afghanistan. Based on interviewing 507 respondents, the main factors were defined such as improper balance of power in region, stigmatizations as a deterrent to peace building, the role of hostility, international capacity and local capacity, civil resistance, lack of effective mediations, poor governance that led to disruption, and etc. The third scientific result is new, as along with interviewing of 507 respondents, the author has conducted an experts survey using the Delphi method of 86 experts in Afghanistan's conflict, peace building, social, political, and military conflict. The fourth scientific result is new as the research provides specific recommendations for future peace building efforts. The fifth scientific result is new as an extensive systematic analysis of scientific literature has been really conducted using a bibliometric analysis of more than 2,000 articles divided in 7 blocks: peace building, impact on society and geopolitics, hybrid form of peace, politics behind war and gender, strategies behind peace building, resisting war and settlements, psychology of war and human security. 5.2. All conclusions of dissertation are completely new. The author made a significant attempt to provide a scientific explanation and based on qualitative analysis. 5.3. The proposed solutions are completely new and justified. This scientific study provides specific recommendations for future peace-building efforts in Afghanistan. 6 criteria: the validity of the main conclusions. All main conclusions of the dissertation are sufficiently substantiated and convincing based on scientifically significant evidence. 7. The main assumptions submitted for thesis defense. All the main assumptions submitted for thesis defense have been proven. The first assumption has been proven as it is based on peace-building, peacekeeping, and peacemaking concepts overview. It is not trivial as proves the importance of the strategic peace-building approach. It is new as shows the peace-building approaches to Afghanistan from the perspective of Islam, as well as technocratic focus on Afghan peace-building and reconstruction process. The application level is wide as the author emphasizes adopting an integrated coordinated system for peace building, and it is proven in the articles. The second assumption has been proven as it is based on numerous studies of peace building concepts. It is not trivial. It is new in terms of its application area, and the application level is wide as the assumption refers to a wide scope of peace building process issues, and it is proven in the article. The third assumption has been proven as it is based on numerous studies on Islam, fundamentalism, and radicalization in Afghanistan. It is not trivial as considers the complexity of the Afghan religious and traditional status in dependence on its actors and their ideological inclinations. It is new as it considers the empowerment of the extremist ideological forces within the country as a side effect to foreign invasions. The application level is wide as it refers to wide dispute traditionalism versus Islamism, and it is proven in the article. The fourth assumption has been proven by empirical data explaining the main factors that led to the failure of the US government and the international community's peace-building efforts in Afghanistan. It is not trivial based on ontology and epistemology of the study. It is new as it was based on recently conducted interviews. The application level is wide as it leads to a wide spectrum of research topics including the US strategy to Afghanistan, regional security, etc. And it is proven in the article. The fifth assumption has been proven by empirical data on the ground in Afghanistan, as well as conducted interviews with experts throughout the country and abroad. It is not trivial based on ontology and epistemology of the study. It is new as it was based on recently conducted interviews. The application level is wide as it leads to a wide spectrum of research topics, including study of Afghanistan, regional security, peace process, etc. And it is proven in the articles. The sixth assumption has been proven by a whole methodology of the research. It is not trivial as it suggests a strategy of constructive interaction with Taliban. It is new. The application level is wide as it includes recommendations for future peace-building efforts in Afghanistan and any other country facing attempts at external state building through military invasion. And it is proven in the article. The main conclusions and results of the dissertation's research are reflected in 9 articles, 2 of them in Journal of Review of Peace and International Affairs indexed in the Scopus database, and 2 articles in journals recommended by our Committee for Quality Assurance in Science and Higher Education. The 8th criteria, principle of validity, 8.1. The choice of methodology is justified and methodology is described in sufficient detail in 1.3, methodology of literature review, in 3.1, research methods and data collections. 8.2, the results of dissertation work were obtained using modern methods of scientific research and techniques of data processing and interpretation with the use of computer technologies in particular, systematic literature review using meta-analysis methods, bibliometric analysis of 2,291 articles using HeSeed, Excel, and other software tools such as WordViewer and Gephi. Network and occurrence analysis, citation analysis, content analysis for clustering, expert survey using Delphi method, structured and unstructured methods of interview. 8.3. Theoretical conclusions are proved and confirmed by the results of expert survey of 86 experts, including senior bureaucrats, ambassadors, political figures, and international experts. Interview of 507 respondents, including educators, journalists, politicians, and ordinary Afghan people. 8.4. Important assertions are supported by references to relevant and reliable scientific literature, as well as the secondary sources data collection from various documented sources, reports from non-governmental organizations on the development of peace-building process in Afghanistan, analysis of periodicals, mass media, and social networks. The list of references contains 301 sources. References to them are given in dissertation in full accordance with the requirement. 8.5. It should be once more noted that all literature review, they also conducted a bibliometric analysis of more than 2,000 articles, and considering the list of reference of 301 sources, we are fully confident that the literature sources used are sufficient. And 9, practical value of principle. The thesis has a real theoretical significance, first of all, due to a huge amount of work on literature review that can be used in further studies of peace-building process. Secondly, it provides theoretical grounds on 4 interrelated theoretical topics: the complexities of peace-building in Afghanistan, counterinsurgency, democratization of warlords, and the failure of inter-Afghan peace negotiations. Finally, it would be helpful for future research in the field's impact of technology on the peace-building process, cross-national studies of peace-building, technological change, how it is influencing peace-building practices. 9.2, the dissertation has a practical significance. The results and conclusions can be useful for policymakers and political leaders, providing the deep understanding of peace-building process in general and in Afghanistan in particular. And 9.3, the proposals and recommendations are completely new, in particular, strengthening the justice system, addressing socioeconomic inequalities, countering narcotic trade, supporting civil society and human rights regional cooperations. Finally, quality of writing and design. The dissertation is written at a high scientific and methodological level. Concluding the dissertation of Zaland F.М on the topic peace-building process in Afghanistan, political power distribution and its future, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Political Science, to our opinion, fully complies with the requirements of the rules of awarding degree, and it also deserves to be awarded by the required degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Political Science. The review report was signed on June 20. Thank you for your attention.
Спасибо, Мария Насаровна. Rahmet. I now give the floor to the official authorized review, Dr. Abdulhakim Burhanadin. Abdulhakim Mырза, сізге сөз.
Саламатсыз ба? Не, ескертулерді айту керек па, саламатсыз ба?
Жоқ, енді сізге айтты ғой ғалым хатшы, жалпы шолып шығыңыз, сосын ескертулеріңіз, өзіңіздің отзывыңыз, пікіріңіз бар ғой, сол пікір бойынша.
Иә, сонда айтайын, иә, жақсы. Okay, thank you. As I said you before, first of all, this is a good, I think, work. You conducted good research, but now I find out that you had a time limitations. That's why you could cover all the topics and the historical background, theoretical framework in your dissertation. But I think nevertheless, I think it would be useful to add the theoretical analysis if it's possible, because it's about surveys, it's about expertises, and we want to see you in your dissertation. If briefly say, we want to see you and see, your views, your analysis in your dissertation. For example, what interested me is that as we know that the two countries, two big, let's say, empires, they failed in controlling Afghanistan. The first was the Soviet Union, and the second is USA. So these two countries that failed, and what interested me that could the third empire ever occupy Afghanistan again? Maybe China, maybe other countries, I don't know. And what would happen? You know, there is a word that Afghanistan became like a you know Magile Imperi, деп айтады ғой. So every empire that enters Afghanistan will immediately face the not good ending. So I think that what would happen if the question is what will if there is a chance for the third empire or big power to enter Afghanistan, and what would is there a chance, and if it ever happen, what was the situation in Afghanistan? But in my point of view, it will never happen. I think they experienced it, USA and the Soviet Union, as I said, and Afghanistan is now, I think, more secure than ever. Yes, there is Taliban. Yes, there is instability, there is an economic crisis, but I think Afghanistan is more secure than ever, because Afghanistan is now under control of the one power and united. There is no Tajiks or there is no Uzbeks. The separatist regions, like it was back in 90s. I hope to see these things in your dissertation, to these theories. Yes, you covered the methods. Your research conduction is very good, very high value. Your academic writings language is very high. There is no doubt about that. But I wanted to see these things, theoretical basis, theoretical framework analysis, and the future. So even in your conclusion, you gave like several your points, 8 points, but it's not like 100% I'm satisfied with this conclusion, you know. So also the historical background is also very important. The Taliban, the link between Taliban and the Deobandis, and also the technical details. We wanted to see these things, you know. Faiz Zaland, because you live in Afghanistan, you see it by your eyes, and also that you are defending your dissertation, you're discussing, making discussion in Kazakhstan, you could make some a link between Kazakhstan and Afghanistan. What's the role of the Taliban in Central Asia? So it took power, and it has now our delegations visit Afghanistan. Our vice prime minister visit Afghanistan very, every 2 months, I think. And we have the economical relations, we have the political relations. As my colleagues noticed that we also took Taliban from the terrorist list. This also good things. And I heard that in Afghanistan also the people also when they hear about Kazakhstan, they have good attitude to Kazakhstan. So I think this kind of things also could be covered in your dissertation, that relation between and what will be the role of the Taliban in the nearest future, like let's say in 10 and 20 years in Central Asia. So the role of the Taliban. So there is also concerns of the China. So China also really entering Afghanistan economically, not only Afghanistan, the African countries also. So these political things, historical things could be covered more in your dissertation. But as you said, you had a time limitation. But if it's possible, but as I noticed here from the reply to my questions, you have written articles in Scopus that covered the historical background, the Deobandis and the Taliban. And that's, I think, I would like to read these articles. And if it's possible, my big remark is to add this kind of things, relations, and the future of Afghanistan. We want to see the future of Afghanistan in the security of the Central Asia. What would happen? I hope Afghanistan and Kazakhstan will have, inshallah, good relationship politically, economically, because we're exporting many things. So my review generally is positive, but as I said, I have some ideas and some notices if Mr. Faiz Zalad will take it into account and add it to in his the final version of his dissertation. So thank you. I finished.
Rahmet sizge. I give the floor to doctoral candidate Faiz Mohammed Zalan to respond to the comment and recommendation.
First of all, I'm really honored receiving all these comments, questions, recommendations. I'm honored as an Afghan, as a student, as an assistant professor in Kabul University, to be given a chance to pursue my PhD studies in Kazakhstan. My last 4 years, they were highly influential in understanding how countries collaborate, how academia can collaborate. I still consider myself a student, and I'm teaching. Last week also I was teaching my students, and I was telling them that I'm honored that I become a student back, and I will be staying student for my whole life, because I'm learning from each and every comment and question and communication with my respected professors. I'm honored also to receive the support of my dean, my department head, and my very dear supervisor, the national and also international supervisor from Sultan Barakat, and also Professor Reem Bakhov. I'm highly I present my high gratitude to all of you. Regarding the recent comments from Professor Burhanuddin Hakim Saib, thank you so much. Yes, they are very important aspects. Unfortunately, when I was starting my PhD in 2019, and we were expecting to write my PhD, and my topic was certified by the department in 2020, which was 2020 there were no expectations that Taliban will take over militarily. The expectations, my research was based on 2021, 22, 23. And all those 3 years, there were a peace building process, that there will be a conjuncture, there will be a shared government, Taliban plus Republicans. So there will be a government of modern and traditional aspects. But what happened in 2021 August, nobody was thinking of that. It really shifted all my ideas and all my research and all my data analysis. And I tried to cover that in those specific wording and specific theoretical framework, which was prior to the Taliban takeover of the government was initiated. The Taliban, all these shifts of Deobandi and traditional and religious decisions that Taliban are making, and also the decision that Kazakhstan has made regarding eliminating Taliban from terrorist group, it is like for past 2 months. It was not in past 3 years. Nobody thought that it will happen, for example. So that's why I'm honored that I'm now introduced to very highly influential professors. I will be always your student. Please keep in touch with me and give me a chance to collaborate on these future aspects. Write in detail about how these aspects can help not only Afghanistan stability, but Kazakhstan-Afghanistan friendship, Kazakhstan-Afghanistan security and stability, and the regional aspects of the stability. And I will be honored to, in detail, write on many current aspects that as I've told you, my second article in Scopus, I will share both of them with you. That is on the typology of Taliban. So the typology of Taliban also focuses on the typology of their ideology within the current Taliban structure. And I published that in last September, because when I observed Taliban in Kabul for past almost 3 years, I observed their typology and their ideological differences also. The Bandis, for example, modern and moderate, fragmented, and hardliners. And then, those that they are having this ideology of global jihadism and everything in that. So I will share those, and I'm honored to receive all these support and all these highly important recommendations. I will always be honored to receive your support in my university also. I already shared all these details with my chancellor in Kabul University to start collaboration between faculties and universities of Kazakhstan and Kabul University on exchange programs of lectures, exchange programs of degrees and communication. Thank you so much once again, and it's a privilege and honor to me to be here.
Thank you. Уважаемые коллеги, перейдем к открытой дискуссии. Let us proceed to the open discussion.
Можно, да?
Да.
I think we have a very good defense of dissertations today in our dissertation council. This is because we are now discussing a good scientific work which provided by Faiz Zaland, and because I think that the topic of the dissertation is very important because we are now witnessing this very complicated process and the very difficult process of the peace building in Afghanistan. And Afghanistan is a close country to us. It is almost our neighbor, and the processes which are taking place in Afghanistan, so are very important for Kazakhstan. And it's this, and I think that the doctorand Faiz gave us this complicated and this controversial picture of this peace building process in Afghanistan. And he used some modern theoretical approaches to study this process, and I think it is this gave him more more proof to his arguments, and and he used different approaches, and of course there are maybe some shorthands in this study, but in general, my view is that he gave us a very complicated and very comprehensive picture of the peace building process in Afghanistan. And in this process and in this study, Faiz Zaland himself, he performed as an accomplished, as an established scholar, and who conducted this very difficult study. And I think that we should support him. We should give him support in providing, in conferring him the degree of PhD. And I invite my colleagues from our dissertation council, to support and to confer him his doctoral degree. Thank you.
Thank you. Есть еще кто хочет?
Can I add some words afterwards? Гульнар Урлембаева.
Есть еще кто будет?
Меня слышно?
Да, слышу тебя.
I would like just to support Rustam Kazakpaevich words and to say once more how I was really impressed by methodological level of the dissertation. What we see in this dissertation is a real literature review, how it should be conducted from scientific point of view, from methodological point of view. What we see in the dissertation is a real content analysis, how it should be conducted. So maybe as a specialist in foreign security, I didn't review this work from geopolitical points of view, from the points of international relations of Afghanistan with other countries. But I highlighted for myself the high theoretical background, the high theoretical level of this dissertation, and this must be true in our PhD research. Thank you, Mr. Faiz Zaland, for this presentation of methods you used. Thank you once more.
Рахмет, Марьяна Назаровна. Тағы да.
Can I add some remarks? Yeah.
I absolutely agree with my colleagues and with reviewer, and I absolutely agree that we have possibility today to listen very sophisticated empirical analysis. Yeah, it's I have a very big pleasure to hear it, but at the same time, I would like to mention that again, unfortunately, there are a little bit lack of theoretical approach. Yeah, of course, maybe it's not. Of course, it's not very big problem for young scholar and for young researcher. But it's I think we should do this remark to give some to push our PhD candidate to in future to big more attention to theoretical approach to conceptualization. Yeah, so because on PhD level, I would like to see more theoretical background, more more logically combined empirical approaches. When I can see very strict hypothesis, very strict proof of this hypothesis, and I would like to have some possibility to verify or falsify this hypothesis. So from my point of view, again, it's not some idea about to give some bad remarks to our PhD candidate, but just to put him to do research in future and wrote article, which he tell us he will write it and send us, and I think it will be very good work in future. So thank you, and I hope you will have your degree today.
Thank you. Все, наверное, да? Коллеги, тогда мы перейдем к тайному голосованию, наверное, да? Dear colleagues, a secret ballot will be opened to pass the resolution. The academic secretary is given the floor to present the voting rules. А сейчас ученый-секретарь вам разъяснит правила тайного голосования. Спасибо.
Distinguished members of Dissertation Council, a secret ballot form in Google form has been sent to your Gmail email. The Dissertation Council will hold a secret ballot voting to pass one of the following resolution. First, award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy PhD. Second, send the dissertation for the revision. Third, send the dissertation for redefense. Fourth, refuse to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy PhD. Please vote by selecting one of these motions. So please start to vote. Colleagues, I received only 10 replies. 4 people have not yet 11. Okay. As you see, still we have 11 replies. 3 persons have not yet choose their reply. So 2 persons. One more person have not yet choose the word. Do somebody have problem with this? Why only one person have not yet reply? I'm sorry, who could have problem, maybe couldn't find difference. It should be 14 words. Colleagues, who have problem?
Кешіресіз, мүмкін қол көтеріп шығарамыз бүйтіп кім дауыс бергендер деп, сосын белгілі болады.
Кешірерсіздер, уважаемые коллеги, один человек не проголосовал. Мы не видим, кто не проголосовал, потому что тайное. И қол көтеруді мен білмеймін енді ондай. Біз біліп отырған жоқпыз кім екенін. Это тайное голосование.
Имеется в виду, у кого проблема, хотел сказать, да, у кого проблема, поднимите руку в этом плане. So it's secret voting. Yeah, I couldn't see who reply, who not. Жомарт Кудайбергенович. Жомарт Кудайбергенович, да? Some problem with Zoom and and one person, yeah, we are waiting him. Still we waiting one person. colleagues, as we understand, it's problem with internet with one of our participator. So we are waiting when this problem will be solved. Гульнара Улинбаевна, можем мы пока обсудить заключение?
Мы не можем же знать результаты последних.
Понятно.
Да.
It's okay. Let me share. So, as you see, according to the secret ballot voting on the defense of the dissertation by Zaland F.M submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, in the specialty 03104 political science, the results are the following. For awarding the degree of postdoctor of philosophy, 13 votes. For recommending the dissertation for revision, 1 vote. For recommending the dissertation for redefense, 0 votes. For refusal the award for degree of Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, 0 votes.
Хорошо. Теперь перейдем, да, к обсуждению заключения. Пожалуйста. Dear colleague, let us proceed to the consideration of the draft resolution of the dissertation house.
Yeah, we prepared such kind of resolution, and now we have dissertation classification characteristic. First, dissertation results characterization. You see 1.1 solving the problem of significant importance to the relevant field of knowledge. 1.2 significantly sustainable technical, economic, or technological developments that provide solution to important applied problems.
Paragraph 1.1. Paragraph
1.1.
1.1, yeah? So the second, dissertation results novelty. 2.1, the results are new. 2.2, some of the results are not new. 2.3, substantial part of the results are not new.
Paragraph 2.
2.
Не все результаты новые, это правильно же, да?
Да.
Хорошо.
Third, dissertation results value 3.1 high, 3.2 satisfactory, 3.3 unsatisfactory.
3.1.
3.1, maybe.
3.1.
3.1? Есть еще предложения?
First, dissertation topic curricular relation. 4.1, the topic is included in state, regional, scientific and technological programs or international research programs. 4.2, the topic is included in the base research program, branch program, plans of scientific organization and higher education institution. Third, initiative work.
Initiative.
Maybe for font 3.
The dissertation results applicability, first at the international level, second intersectional sectoral level, third industrial wide level, 4 within an organization.
5.2.
One или two?
5.2.
2.
Six.
Paragraph 6.
1.
1 or 2?
6 and 1.
1?
Расширенное, да?
Да.
Пользование.
Please vote, да? Голосуем. Наконец, уважаемые коллеги, завершилась сегодняшняя защита. Үлкен рахмет сіздерге. Я қазір біз екінші защитаны, екінші қорғауды жалғастырамыз. Спасибо.
Рахмет.
Да.
Thank you.
Сау болыңыздар.
Congratulations.
Рахмет.
Рахмет баршаңызға.
And
Thank you
our
very much.
congratulations to Faiz Zaland and
Congratulations to Faiz.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's amazing. It's unbelievable. Like all these, my 4 years, and you know, our country and our situation with all these difficulties, finding such a collaborative institution, university, department, it is unbelievable. I cannot express my gratitude. I cannot express my pleasure and the honor that I have today. It's not only for myself, for my family, for my kids, for my country. Everybody, it's amazing. Thank you so much. It's unbelievable.
Thank you. You have a very good work. Thank
Honor.
you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulate you. Faiz, congratulate you. Tashkent congratulates you too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Спасибо, коллеги. Рахмет сіздерге.
we appreciate your work and yeah.
Докторант әлі бізде жылаған жоқ. Бірінші рет бұл.
Thank you. Goodbye. We are finished and I closed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome,
Галина, не забудьте выключить запись.
Все, я выключила запись, все, выходим, до свидания. У нас новая защита.
Спасибо вам всем огромное. Спасибо. Сау болыңыздар, рахмет.
Жодырыс Мубарак.
Отправляем еще раз.